All right. All right. Hi, Seekers. Hey, everybody. Glad that you're here. So let us jump into talking about, hey, Dave, I'm so glad you made it. Awesome, Brian. Brian still is talking about his experience up on some hiking today. Thank you very much, Rayo, for the compliment. People are complimenting me on my hair. It is a very faded, luscious lavender by Splat, if anybody wants to know that for any reason. But yeah, it's a kind of cute faded color, so it works out nice. Hey, Sterna, I'm not sure how to pronounce anybody's name. But anyway, nice to see you. If you folks on Instagram could be nice enough to hashtag live, that'd be super awesome too. And anybody in Facebook, if you want to hashtag live in the comments, that's awesome because that helps other people find us with the algorithms. All right, so let's talk about the pink supermoon now that I've gotten that out of the way. So let's start with, what is the pink moon or the pink supermoon or any of the words that I said? So the pink moon is just one of those names that the Native Americans kind of applied to, they had names for all of the moons, and the pink moon is the one that is in April. And of course, the moon itself doesn't look pink. It's not like the harvest moon when it's orange, which is really pretty. This tonight in particular is actually kind of look yellow, not pink. But the reason why they call it the pink moon is they actually had it named after this particular type of herb moths, or pink phlox or wild ground phlox, depending on who or where you're reading, that grows during this time of year. In fact, I was on Instagram or somewhere the other day where someone was actually posting some real pictures of it having blossomed right now, which is really cool. So it might be something that you've even seen out in the wild if you've been going on hikes or walks recently and maybe not even realize it. But the pink phlox signifies blooming or a blooming period in spring when life has not only emerged after this really long kind of hibernation of winter. Of course, we're all kind of stuck in kind of hibernation mode right now, but this is sort of general information because I'm hoping that somebody might be watching this next year at the supermoon too, or not supermoon, but the pink moon too, because the supermoon is special tonight. It's not obviously every April or anything. But it has to do with the idea that now that springtime is here and now that it started, we've got this sort of ball rolling and things are growing and gaining strength and gaining vitality. So things are getting awesomer and awesomer and awesomer. At least that's the hope. This year, as far as the supermoon is concerned, it's one of the closest supermoons of the year. And if you're not familiar with the term supermoon, a supermoon is when the moon appears. Someone's trying to call me. The supermoon is when the moon is larger and brighter than usual. And this particular supermoon is about 7% bigger and about 15% brighter than a typical moon. And it's, like I said, it's going to look yellow. But as far as those kind of minuscule percentages, it's not that obvious if you're looking at it in the night sky tonight. Like you might be like, oh, maybe it looks a little bigger. Maybe if you could put side by side, you might be able to tell a difference. But otherwise, it's really just big and pretty like it usually is. Someone else is trying to find the stream real quick, so I am just going to respond to this message. My friend Dan, who some of you may have met. So there should be a video post / link in the name. Okay. So now we've got that away. So the other thing about this particular pink moon that we have is that it is in the sign of Libra. So Libra, if you're not familiar with the astrological symbols, it resembles a set of scales. So, hey, Luna Tamar, nice to see you. So if you're not familiar with the different symbols, the symbol for Libra looks like scales, like I said. So as such, it tends to be associated with balance. And the idea of finding balance, which I know I personally really associate with right now because I'm a parent with children. Hi, Dan. Glad you could make it. Glad you found us all right. Anyway, the idea of finding balance with me as a parent, having children and trying to homeschool them because I think most people can agree that, hey, Witches Boutique, great to see you. Glad. That's a combination of great and glad if you're not sure. As a parent, anyway, I was saying for like the fifth time. trying to balance homeschool and working from home, if some people are doing that, and just being a normal sane person can be a real struggle right now. So I feel like the sort of full moon in Libra is totally capturing that frustrating kind of energy that a lot of us have right now, trying to just deal with all the stuff that's going on. For the people that are in partnerships or marriages right now, hey, Witch's Boutique, this can be a really good time to sort of evaluate your relationship and finding balance in the power kind of between the two sides. Thanks, Dan. Dan is saying that Libra is associated with the Justice card and tarot, which makes a lot of sense because it has to do with karma too, so kind of give and take of things going on. Definitely balance. Yes, absolutely. But even if you're not partnered, it's still a really good time to examine your relationships, your friendships, even especially your relationship with yourself. That said, I feel like, we have a lot of things happening online right now, people doing Zoom chat rooms and Google Hangouts, and there might be some holdouts out there that are thinking to themselves, well, that's super lame and it's not the same, so I'm not going to bother. And I think that one of the messages of this full moon is that you should absolutely take a chance on it and consider joining or even starting your own, hangouts and Zoom chat rooms. I haven't personally used Zoom yet, so I don't know what the right terminology is. Anyway, thanks, Avi. I know you have to leave. I'll catch you on the flip side. Make sure you hashtag replay when you come back. So definitely don't be afraid to kind of jump right into all this super fun virtual, hey Elizabeth, nice to see you. All the super fun things that are happening on the internet that maybe you've been avoiding because, you just were feeling a little humdrum or like it wasn't quite the same. Another thing too, on the flip side of that is if you've been spending all of your time kind of like self-isolating and not allowing yourself time to yourself to just kind of introspect or kind of go inside yourself, this is a good time to do that too. Again, about finding balance between the two things. It could be a good time to kind of step away from all the social media, a good time to step away from your phone and certainly the news and take some time to yourself to relax and do some introspection, some self-analyzation, and start looking at the things in your life that, you choose to put your energy into. Are they worth it? Are they things that you still want to keep doing? I know that I have cut some huge things out of my life just in the last week, so I definitely resonate with that kind of energy that's happening right now. Otherwise, it's a really great time. I have some quotes here I found here. It's a really great time to reclaim and reaffirm your values and your virtues. And the other thing too, as far as solitude goes, because Libra is an air sign, which is very much associated with the intellect and things like and learning, it's a really great time to go into that. I know if you're anything like me, you probably have a giant stack of books somewhere that you bought and haven't found time to read yet. This is a great time to dive into that stack of books and learn something new. So as far as that goes, I thought we would be super fun and kind of helpful for people that are thinking to themselves, I'm super excited that there's this really exciting supermoon happening. What should I do? Like, what would be a good thing based on all the energy that's going around as far as a ritual that would be helpful and particularly powerful at this time? One of my first suggestions is, I know a lot of us are feeling super stir crazy because we're stuck at home. And I know that not everybody is like the super creative type, but I think that it would be a great time, again, because air is associated with creativity. So is fire a little bit, but I'm kind of lumping them as similar but different. Especially, I would say, if you've never painted before, it could be a really good time to start. Because again, air sign, Libra, new beginnings. Take your frustration and your emotions and all the feelings that you're having out on a canvas and slap it down there. And remember that art is not about making something beautiful. It's about making something that evokes feeling. And whatever feelings you have, you want to put right down on that canvas, and you can save it and put it up somewhere as a reminder of how you might want to take something negative and turn it into something positive. Or if you want to go a step further, you can burn that bad boy and just be like, look, these are my bad feelings and I want to get rid of them. Then that's fine too. You're just going to, whatever feels right to you is what's the most important thing. The other thing too, talking about Libra and balance, when you talk about balance, there's always this idea of decision making. So if there are any really big, super fun. Dave over here says that he picked up a ukulele off of Facebook Marketplace and is starting to learn from Musician, which I'm going to guess is a YouTube channel, which is super cool. My kids, on their online school, one of their music teachers plays ukulele, so at least once a day I hear ukulele playing in the background. And Dave says he also wrote a song, which is like super fun. If you want to record yourself playing your super awesome song and post it in this group later, Dave, I would love to hear it, and I'm sure I would be the only one. But going back to about Libra decision making, great time for that. So if there's a big decision that you've kind of been sitting on and kind of like waffling back and forth on what to do, and I think we can all agree that when we're going through that, like we know we should make a decision, and we're just like, I'll deal with that later, and then totally regret it down the line. Well, this Libra pink full supermoon is the perfect time to, as they say, or get off the pot. And when I talk about the idea of having a ritual, it doesn't have to be some big, fancy, ritualized thing. A ritual could be as simple as, in this case, making a pros and cons list and making a final decision. If you have another ritual that you usually do to help you make decisions, you could do that. And, there's not a wrong answer. And I'm going to probably say it a lot. There's not a wrong answer, or your mileage may vary, or use your intuition. Because when it comes to this spiritual stuff, that's really always going to be the bottom line. And excellent. It's a great time to be taking your physical health seriously, Dan, and learning about health and nutrition. And a great time to be working with plants in general. I know you're talking about foods, but, this time of year in the spring, it's a great time to get outside, get your hands in the dirt, get some vitamin D, just in general, even apart from the moon. But the full moon or the pink moon has a lot of that kind of springtime energy in it. Working with the ideas of new growth and fertility, which isn't necessarily, the obvious thing when we think of fertility. It can just mean, growth of new things and creation of new things in our lives. And then the other thing that a lot of people like to do with the full moon, myself included, is to make full moon water. But of course, this is super duper extra cool full moon water because let me see if I can get all my adjectives straight here. It is doing that. Rayo DeLuna says they're doing that to get their grounding in for tonight. Making full moon water, I assume you mean. Absolutely. Oh, you're talking about working with plants. Of course. Yes. And the full moon water is really great because it's the full pink super moon. It has all the energy of, growth and fertility and potential. We can use it for lots of really great things. So it has some really special properties. Yes, gardening. Absolutely. And the cool thing about this full moon water is that you can kind of double up on your green garden magic by watering your plants with your full pink super moon water, which could be a super fun idea. It was on my list, so you beat me to it. So good job. The other things too, so I mentioned rebirth, growth, compassion, potential, improving friendships, relationships. I know I mentioned that earlier. And also, of course, like the idea of self-love, taking care of yourself, which I know we all really need to be working really hard on that right now. How do you make full moon water, Hearty? I think that's what you mean. Absolutely. Hey, Renee. Good to see you. So someone just asked me how you make full moon water. Super simple. So you take some water. You can get super fancy and go to a stream or a river or a natural body of water to get your water, or catch rain if you are planning ahead. But you can also literally just get it out of your tap. So you just get some water and you put it in a bowl. If you want to get super fancy, you can put it in a silver or a white bowl, which kind of, again, reflects that lunar energy. And you leave it out in the full moonlight overnight. And if you can't leave it outside for whatever reason, you can always put it in a windowsill, like a south-facing windowsill that catches the moonlight. Basically, the idea is that after that full night is passed, or you could get extra fancy, do 3 nights if you want to be super duper extra thorough, like the night before, the night of, the night after. And then you can use that water in a gazillion different ways and lots of different types of magic, which I'm going to get into a little bit here. So that is how you make full moon water. And of course, every full moon has a different energy to it. So every time you make it, you're capturing just a little bit different type of energy in it, which is really cool. And you can, like I said, tons of different uses. One of the ways you can use it, like I said, is you can totally, oh, hey, Kara, nice to meet you. So we were just talking about full moon water, making full moon water for the super full pink moon. I know there's a lot of adjectives there. Sometimes I get them out of order. But there's lots of different ways that we can use the full moon water, watering plants, like you said. Or another idea I had is obviously a lot of people, you're very welcome, Artie, glad I can help you with that. Another way that you can use full moon water is your spring cleaning. Put it in your floor wash. And that way you're going to get that energy in your whole home or anywhere where you're using it. So if you're in spring cleaning mode, you can use it for any of your cleaning solutions. Even if if you're like, oh, I only have a bowl of moon water, it's only going to do a small bit. You don't have to use a lot. Think about it like, I'm going to try to think of the best analogy. Yes, I'm totally getting to that, Alyssa. That's a very good point. I will tell you guys what she said shortly, so that way you know what I'm talking about. But absolutely. What did I say? Oh, so when you've only got a little bit of moon water and you've got a lot of cleaning to do, just use a little bit at a time. Think about it like almost like food coloring. Like, yes, it's super, super concentrated when you have it in that little bottle, but even one single drop of food coloring in a big thing of water is going to tint it. It's going to change the energy. So, if you only have a little bit to work with, don't be afraid to spread it around or put it in a bottle and save it and use it for something else down the line. You could even bottle it and save it until winter time when you're like desperate for springtime energy. So, there's really, the sky's the limit here. And then earlier I was talking about how this is the perfect time for self-care. And I think it looks like we all need that right now. One of the ways you can do that is to make a bath, which is what Alyssa was talking about just a second ago. Excellent time for putting in a bath. And like I said, you don't have to use all of it. You can just put a little bit in and save the rest and use it for other things. And of course, you can also make tea with your moon water. Obviously, you have to heat it up. Again, your mileage may vary on whether or not you feel like heating up the water destroys some of the energy or not, because there's some kind of science to how it changes things. I personally would tend to disagree. If anything, I would say heating it up might actually make it more powerful, because when you heat things, it actually makes the molecules vibrate faster. But that's just me. You do you. So you can totally make tea with your full moon water, or even just put a little bit of the water in there so you're getting a little bit and again saving the rest for something else. And there are some other herbs that are really good that you can use. I actually found a specific recipe for pink moon tea online that I thought you guys might like. The particular herbs in this are, I'll say it slowly in case people want to write it down or type it out somewhere. I'll give you 5 seconds to grab something. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right, so here is the pink moon tea recipe. It is half a tablespoon of hibiscus petals, which are for love and divination, which divination is another really popular activity for any moon ritual. And if you're not familiar with the term divination, it's otherwise sometimes mistakenly, in my opinion, called fortune telling. So like tarot cards, runes, crystal ball, tea leaf reading, especially. My Instagram is paused, so I'm not going to say too much right now. We're reconnecting. Hey guys, I know my video just kind of cut out and back in again. If you guys want to let me know if you're still there, that'd be awesome. So, like I said, I'll say that again. Half a tablespoon of hibiscus for love and divination. Yes, they do taste delicious, Dan. 2 teaspoons of lavender, which is for sleep and relaxation. And a half a teaspoon of mugwort, which is for psychic dreaming. And 1/2 teaspoon of rose hips for love again, and 1 rose bud also for love. So this is a very love heavy recipe. So there are some other herbs. So that's just a really specific recipe. If you really, really like that, feel free to use it. And I can't take credit for it. I found it on the internet somewhere. But there are some other herbs that you could also use that are really great for this particular energy of this moon. Rose, obviously, is one of them in here. And my screen kind of went funny. Are you okay? 19%. Here we go. Let me just plug back in real quick. Oh yeah, Dave. No, I know my disconnect was on Instagram, but thank you very much. All right. So some other herbs, chamomile. I put chamomile on here because it's really good for relaxation and stress relief, especially if you're having a hard time sleeping. Chamomile might be a really great addition to your tea. Dan asks, would strawberries be good? I would say yes, because I totally associate strawberries with love, especially like when people are always giving like chocolate covered strawberries for Valentine's Day. Totally a thing. Plus they're red, plus they resemble hearts, so like triple threat. Absolutely, I think strawberries are a great choice. Also, allspice. And now there's I have them here. If people want to know them, I can let you know. I looked up all of the medicinal properties of all these herbs too. Now I want to preface this by telling you that I am not an herbalist and I am not really a green witch. Like I have High Montana Spirit, nice to see you. I have the world's blackest thumb. Unless it goes wild in my backyard, I am pretty useless. But I do have some books and reference manuals from when I used trying to teach myself these things. But in the process of researching all this, I discovered that the Libra full moons are often associated with the kidneys and detoxifying the bladder, which is really random and weirdly specific. So there are some of these herbs that are in here because they have those properties. One of those is, I wrote nettle on here. I just realized I didn't move it down on my list, so I almost missed that. Nettle is one that's detoxifying for the bladder and the kidneys also. Really good for self-care. And allspice is another one which is good for luck and healing, but it's also a diuretic for kidneys. So really, really great for the solar Libra moon season. And then finally, hawthorn, specifically the berries, which are good for fertility and happiness. And they're actually sacred to the fairies, which, hey, Freedom! Funny to see you here. I wrote down the fairy thing in particular because to me, this is Beltane season. I'm not going to talk about Beltane really today, but I associate this season very, very much with the fae and fairy energy. So I thought that was appropriate for sure. So those are all some really great herbs that you can use either in your baths or your teas, or if you want to get extra creative and make some, my Instagram froze up again, so hang in there with me. Yes, strawberries are absolutely delicious. Hey, everybody on Instagram, I know you froze and came back. Hopefully you're all good now. Let's see. So the other thing I wrote down is about a couple of stones. Oh, I was going to talk about herb sachets. Let me get back to that real quick. If you want to get creative and you want to make yourself an herb sachet for the pink moon in order to kind of help remind yourself to take care of yourself in this really challenging time, all of these herbs and the stones I'm about to talk about will be really, really helpful for that too. So the stones I wrote down that I think are especially good for self-care, especially in this particular season, especially at this particular moment in time with what the world is going through. Peacock ore, which is really good for self-confidence and is associated with rebirth and joy. So it kind of encompasses the whole energy of this moon. If you're not familiar with that stone, it's really cool. It's like iridescent, so it looks like peacock colors in the light, but otherwise it looks like a rock. Like if there's nothing to reflect off of, it's an interesting one. Sort of how I'm not good with herbs, I'm actually pretty good with crystals, so that's where my strengths are. Obviously, rose quartz. Oh, Instagram is freezing again. Give it a second. Oh, we're back. Rose quartz is like sort of the self-love stone as far as I'm concerned. It's also associated with calmness and compassion. And infinite, which is actually not a really common stone. I only know about it because I used to sell it in my shop. But I kind of added this one just based on intuition. So hopefully at least one person in this room or in these videos finds it useful, because I'm not sure why else I would have felt the need to include it. But infinite, which is associated with healing, and it's supposed to be really good for relieving like acute pain. And when I wrote it down, my suspicion is that it has to do with emotional acute pain. You know, a lot of us are going through a lot of deep feels right now because of all the things that are going on, being stuck inside. The only place I know of to find Infinite, so this is a good plug for a friend of mine who I don't think is here right now, but she'll appreciate it if you go and buy it from her, is Crystal Cave on Etsy. I used to sell, hey Corrigan, Sir Lalonde. Nice to see you. I don't know if I just totally butchered your name, but good to have you here. Infinite is great. You can find it in the Etsy shop for Crystal Cave. I'm pretty sure they have it. If you can't find it in the shop for any reason, don't be afraid to private message them. I'm sure they'd be happy to help you find it. Hey, Lennon! It's so good to see you. All right. Well, in a matter of speaking. Also, Rhodochrosite, and I think this one's sort of a double whammy because it both represents love and balance. So you're getting the love from the pink and the balance from the Libra for this full moon. So it kind of is it's like if I had to pick a stone that represented the full moon, it's this one. It's okay, Lennon. I'm glad I'm still here. I totally thought it was going to be done by now, but apparently I gathered more information than I needed, so you guys get the benefit. Hey, Ariel. I also have down here pink calcite, which is another one that has to do with self-love and compassion. And for those folks that kind of just joined us, Ariel and Lennon and Corrigan, I'm talking about, thank you, Artie, for coming. Sorry you have to go. Hopefully you got something useful out of this. I'm almost done anyway, so you're not going to miss much. So have a good night. Enjoy your full moon. For the folks that are here newly, we're talking about some stones that are useful that kind of align with the energy of this full moon. You might want to carry them with you or put them in some herb sachets, which I can read those off real quick after. I'm not going to go over the properties again, but just so you have them if you want to write them down, keep some notes for yourself. And then I also finally put down Apache Tears. Now, Apache Tears are usually associated with grief. And again, this is one that I added because of the sort of current state of affairs. I think a lot of us are dealing with a lot of sort of grieving in our own way for different reasons. And Apache Tears are really cool just in general. So feel free to look those up. I know, and about the peacock ore, you can also find that in the Crystal Cave too, if you can't find it anywhere else. Or if you're already going to the Crystal Cave looking for Infinite, you can get them from that too. And I'm sure they would love your business, especially right now when things are kind of funny. For the folks that just came in, some herbs that are really good for this full moon. It's rose hips, hibiscus, lavender, chamomile, mugwort, allspice, and hawthorn berries, which at least some of those you can use to make tea too, which you can make out of full moon water, just as a quick backup. But the most important thing about all this self-care stuff, even apart from, this association and that association, this crystal, this stone. Dan just asked, can he put an Apache tear under his pillow? Sure, why not? You can even get super duper fancy and make yourself a dream pillow using some of those herbs too, and kind of, double up and, on all of the different energies. If you have the materials, obviously not everybody can run out and buy a needle and thread, but if you have the stuff to do it or know someone who you can safely get it from or make for you, that's totally an option too. Just so you know, Lennon Dan's on Facebook, so not on here. But, back to self-care. The most important thing about all this self-care stuff I'm talking about, and this is like key, so I'm glad we have a couple new people that are paying attention. If talking about this stuff or the doing of this stuff stresses you out, just thinking about it, doing it is not going to be self-care. The whole point is to not be stressed and to do something nice for yourself. And if doing something nice for yourself means not, that's okay too, as long as you're doing it intentionally. If you want to sit at home and drink a cup of tea or a glass of wine and eat chocolate and maybe some strawberries per damn, that's okay too. And that is, that could totally be your ritual. Lennon Dan says hi from Facebook. So big thing is doing it with intention. And now really quickly rounding into the end, because this totally went a little longer than I was intending on going. So I'm really glad you guys have come in here with me. A couple of different goddesses for your full moon rituals if you're trying to figure out who you should call in. Thank you for coming, Brian. I'm almost done. You're not going to miss much, so have a great night. Two different goddesses that are really associated with this particular pink moon, Persephone and Hecate. And Persephone, particularly because she's really associated with spring as far as the kind of ritual cycle of her, leaving and coming back. This is a point in time where she is most definitely back and she's on the earth, so to speak. If for those who aren't familiar with mythology, she is a spring flower goddess who spends half the year in the underworld. So she's both a flower maiden and a goddess of death, which I think is super badass. I'm a big fan of hers. Or Hecate, and I included her because there are some systems in which Hecate is considered to be Persephone's guide on Earth. And obviously a lot of witches in general love Hecate, so why not? The other thing too, I wrote here, if you're trying to decide, well, which one should I use? Should it be Persephone or should it be Hecate? I would say, how do you personally associate? Do you associate yourself as, the maiden who's kind of starting on a new journey? A maiden doesn't have to be literally female. It could just be, someone by maiden, I mean someone who's young and inexperienced and, green in the world, as they say. Do you view yourself as that kind of green, new person who's starting off a new journey? Or do you look at yourself more as the wise old one who is guiding other people? Say hi, Aurora.
Hi. Who are you talking to?
Lots of people.
What? Daddy's just speaking from the
Yes, so why don't you go play, silly? I'm almost done. All right. So that's what I got, you guys. Does anybody have any questions for me? No. It takes some time to type.
What is that?
Tea.
Can I have some? Wait, is it cinnamon?
Yeah, it is cinnamon tea, which is currently my favorite. Not because of the full moon, just because I really love cinnamon tea. All right, well, it looks like nobody has any questions. Gabby says hi.
To who?
To you, she said hi, Aurora. Say hi, Gabby.
Hi, Gabby.
All right, well, it looks like nobody has any questions. So if that's all I got, then I guess we're good. I hope everybody enjoyed this. I'm going to do a live stream again on Friday. I was thinking about doing it on Resurrection Myths because Easter is on Sunday. But I'm not sure. No, Sunday. But I'm not sure. You're very, very welcome. I hope I see you again on Friday.
No, I don't like to
No. Oh, my goodness. I have earrings in it. It really hurt if you catch them. People may or may not be super into that. The other thing I'm thinking about doing, careful, is moon goddesses and how to incorporate them into your practice. I had somebody specifically request that. If you have a preference, feel free to drop it into the comments below or make a post about it. I would love to hear from you guys as far as what you would like to see me do another live stream on. So I hope you guys have a great full moon.
Bye. I love you. I like you, Gabby, and also hi.
Ariel said hi too. So hi, say hi, Ariel.
Hi, Ariel.
Hecate. You want me to do a video on Hecate?
Hecate.
All right.
Two.
I will. I'm thinking of doing moon goddesses, but I will obviously Hecate will absolutely be part of that. Oh, hey, corporeal fantasies. Unfortunately, we're just wrapping up, but I think after this wraps up, it's gonna be. Hold on, please. It's gonna be posted on my Facebook group, which if you're on Facebook is Ecstatic Earth Seekers, and it's also gonna be on YouTube under Ecstatic Earth Arts too. So feel free to go back and watch it. So keep an eye out. For now, I think I'm gonna do moon goddesses, but like I said, if anybody else has any suggestions, feel free to include them.
Can I put this on this?
Well, like I just said, someone just said they can't do it on Friday because it's their birthday. Like I said, this stuff will always be reposted on YouTube, and it will be on my Facebook group, so feel free to join if you want to watch them after the fact. Yes, happy early birthday. All right, I'm signing off for now, so have a very happy...
I want to put this on screen.
Say what? All right, go ahead real quick.
This goddesses, it's going to make an air goddess, and a fire goddess, and a water goddess, and moon.
It'll be moon goddesses only.
Why? Why can't we do the other ones?
Maybe another time. Okay?
Okay.
All right. All right, everybody. Have a good night. Happy
Have a
full moon.
Happy full moon and happy birthday. I'm just saying to the one who is your birthday. Or birthday, just saying.
Here I was thinking that this one was going to be
Abby.
She was gonna be what?
Nah, stop. That's okay. That was a great outro there.
Yeah, no kidding.
What?
You. Because you got that cuteness going on.